Hello there, everybody. My name is Bryan.
And I'm Bryan.
And this is Bryan versus Bryan, episode 44. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. We are diving into the 8th Conjuring film. This is the 8th Conjuring film. And I wouldn't even call it that. Technically the 3rd real Conjuring film, but if you don't put a 3 behind it, I don't really feel comfortable.
It says it right there, though, Bryan. The Conjuring 3.
It doesn't even. They took out the.
Yeah.
like the was too much. So yeah, I don't really like throwing numbered sequel numbers on sequels that don't actually use it. Yeah. For all I know, the next one they're gonna have will be Conjuring 3, and this is just like a spinoff. It kind of feels like that.
Yeah, we'll get into that for sure.
Yeah, but so call it Conjuring 3 if you like. But The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do. I had to look it up because some places have it listed as Conjuring, just Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. And then other places have the full The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure the is technically part of the title, like the other ones.
Yeah, agreed.
So just came out, and HBO Max day in release. Also in theaters. I saw it in my living room. You saw it in the theater. We'll see what we thought. So, you're a fan of these series?
Yeah. I think the first one may be like one of my favorite horror films in general. I don't think it's like my favorite or anything, but there's something about that movie I'm just drawn to. I just really like it. Especially I think it stands above the pack in terms of, big budget or, semi big budget Hollywood horror films. Because most Hollywood horror films are trash. It's like Truth or Dare or Escape Room or The Bye-Bye Man. It's just fucking nonsense. But this movie was actually good. It had good characters. It had some actual scary moments where, I feel like a lot of quote unquote Hollywood horror films are just the cat jumping out of a closet and a really loud noise, which is not scary. It's just a loud noise. But I felt like Conjuring actually had scary moments to back up the loud noise. You know what I mean? And I just thought it was a really fun horror film that I wasn't expecting. I kind of went into that movie not knowing a whole lot about it with no expectations. And I kind of walked away like, holy shit, that was fucking awesome. And then the second movie came out and I thought it was pretty good. I don't think it's as good as the first. In fact, we just watched it the other night because Sarah hadn't seen it. And I think like 2/3 of Conjuring 2 are really good or pretty good. The last 40 minutes kind of goes off the rails a little bit. And then this movie, I wasn't like crazy hyped about it, but I enjoyed the first two. I was like, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. My expectations went down a smidge when I found out James Wan wasn't directing, which I didn't know. I didn't know that till like last week. I'm like, oh, there's a new director for this one. That kind of pegs my excitement down a little bit because James Wan is a pretty
he
good
leaves.
director.
He leaves after 2. He did that with Insidious as well. He's like, I got 2. I'm not doing the 3rd one.
Yeah. So I will say, seeing a movie like this in theaters reminds me how stressful these movies are to watch in theaters. Because they do a really good job of building tension where someone's looking at a hole in a wall for like 2 minutes and you're just sitting there like, God damn it. It's just like really stressful. But overall, okay, so my thoughts of this movie. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'll say at the top. I don't think it's I think it's my last favorite in the line. I'd go in order of releases. Conjuring 1's my favorite. Conjuring 2 is better. Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It's third. But it doesn't mean it's bad. I just don't think it's as strong as the first two. But I had a lot of fun with it. This movie surprised me in the genre that it is because it is technically a horror film, but they kind of mesh in a different genre into this franchise where like the first 2 Conjuring movies are absolutely just haunted house movies. They're just that take place in a house. People are being haunted. There's possessions, whatever. This movie starts that way in like the opening, and then the rest of the movie kind of turns into True Detective. It's like a True Detective meets Conjuring, where like Ed and Lorraine Warren basically play detectives solving a mystery to the point where even in their living room they have the police board with like the investigation board rather, where they have the photos and the map and the thumbtacks, and so I thought that
Yeah,
was an interesting way to take this franchise, where they got away from just making another haunted house movie, and they kind of made it more of like a solving a mystery type of movie with Ed and Lorraine Warren as the detectives.
I think that's a big risk to take,
Yeah,
but I I think it's this movie's biggest downfall is that I think that's what holds this movie back. That's what changes this movie as far as the Conjuring movies feel. That's why I am super hesitant to put a 3 behind this Conjuring, because
yeah, it
this
feels
is
so
not
different.
it's not the Conjuring 3. This is the Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Conjuring 3 was the first 5 minutes where it's the boy being possessed.
hmm
That's the movie I kind of wanted to see. That looked very interesting to me. I mean, it was still entertaining, and I liked it, but definitely, yeah, the weakest of the three. And that first part really had me. I was like, okay. I was like, it was started really well. I was like, okay, this reminds me of The Conjuring. This is where we're at.
hmm
And the boy like twisting around on the table, that was pretty fucking awesome. That was some
yeah,
scary exorcist shit. And jumping on Ed and I'll stop your heart, old man. And, like touches his chest. I was like, oh fuck, this is good. And and then the kid doing the Shang Tsung, come to me, and sucking the demon out of the boy.
take my soul.
He's like suck the demon out of the boy. So yeah, I think that kind of made it fall apart and feel really weird. I mean, it's not bad, and I wouldn't be averse to a movie like that, but I just don't think it fit here. It just changed the whole dynamic, and the evil character in this one, the girl
hmm
Satanist, she was okay, I guess. It's kind of interesting bad guy, but not as interesting as a fucking demon. Like
Yeah,
from the first ones and like scary shit like that. You are a human.
nothing's gonna
Uh,
top the Nun, dude. The Nun in Conjuring 2 is so fucked, man. It's so
like
fucked.
yeah, and then what you were talking about earlier. I think the I'm surprised your favorite is the first one, because the consensus seems to be, and it is my opinion as well, that the second one is the best one. I
Mm,
really like the second one better. I mean, they're both really good,
yeah,
but I think the second one just kind of does it for me with the little girl being possessed and the demon kind of trying to trick everyone into believing it's fake.
right.
It's like I just thought there's a lot of really creative things down there that I really liked. But yeah,
I
it was
wanted to. Oh, sorry. Go for it.
no, it was just interesting to hear that yours is the first, because I just wanted to make it known that I like the second, you like the first, and yeah, I think a lot of people do like the second one. Nobody's like the first one sucks by any means.
Yeah,
They're both amazing. Spin-offs kind of suck. The last Annabelle I saw was pretty good. The one where it's the daughter of the the investigator group. Annabelle Comes Home. That one's actually pretty good.
that's what I hear. I hear the original or the first Annabelle was, the kind of the typical Hollywood schlock that I was just referencing earlier.
Yeah.
But I hear the next two Annabelles are actually really good. So I haven't seen any of them. So it'd be, I kind of want to go back and watch them because yeah, I did hear that the last Annabelle was actually pretty good. I wanted to go back to Conjuring 2 for a second because I know we're supposed to talk about this new one, but I just wanted to say Conjuring 2. It's not. I mean, yeah, my first one's a favorite, but Conjuring 2 has my favorite scene. Just like if I just took a scene out of all of these movies, there's a fucking amazing. This is why I love James Wan. Amazing scene in Conjuring 2 where Ed is interviewing the little girl for the first time, and the demon's like, "Hey, you can't watch me. I can't. We're not gonna do this interview with everyone looking at me." And so Ed's like, "Okay, I'll turn around." And then the shot fixes where like Ed's head's in the left side of the frame, and then the little girl's out of focus behind him on the right side of the frame. And the camera just holds for the whole interview. It doesn't cut at all. And you see as the conversation goes longer and longer, like the girl's body like distorts and it becomes the old man just slowly over time. And then by the end of the conversation, there's just an old man out of focus behind. Oh, I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's so fucking cool. I love that shit. And it's like that's all one camera take. And I don't know. James Wan is pretty great at that stuff.
yeah.
And that stuff's
He's
missing in this movie for sure.
definitely the shots and he does a lot of stuff with angles.
hmm
This film feels more like a just normal
Yeah.
like a director of photography shot film.
This movie did piss me off out the gate because one of the in the opening scene or sequence rather, the first like 10 minutes, there's a shot where there's a priest coming to the house and it cuts out and it's a wide shot of the father with
Yeah,
the fog in the house. I'm like, fuck you with
yeah.
your exorcist bullshit.
You got to
Don't
give it
even
a
if you're
little.
gonna make an exorcist shot, homage, you better have a strong movie to back it up.
I thought that was pretty cool. It's just
Yeah.
a little shot. It's a little fun shot.
Have a little fun, yeah.
So
But yeah, I was sorry. I want to go back to this movie. You were saying
yeah,
that the genre switch rather was kind of a put off, and yeah, man, I can. Yeah, I haven't seen reviews. I'm trying to get into the habit of not looking at shit until after we're done, so that other people's opinions don't seep into our show.
yeah.
So I would imagine that you're probably not alone. Like when I walked out of the theater, we were talking about it last night
No,
on the way home, and I was like, man, I bet you a lot of people don't like this new direction of this movie. I kind of dug it. I didn't like. I wasn't in love with it. It was like, yeah, this is a great decision, but I thought the mystery was fun enough that I was pretty involved in. There's some cool little moments along the way. But yeah, maybe it would have been better if it was another haunted house type of deal. I don't know, but it surprised me.
yeah. It's got a lot of sixes,
Mm,
and most people just say it's an okay movie that doesn't live up to the first two, kind of
yeah.
thing. And I haven't read them too deeply, so I don't know how much of the new direction is that,
Hmm.
or the new director. I don't know. I think they both play into it, and both make them not quite as good. Um, but this movie, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. It's almost like Metal Gear Solid 5. Looking back on it, that we thought it's a good game. It's just not a good Metal Gear Solid game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's a good movie. It's just not a very good Conjuring movie.
Right.
So like to be a good Conjuring movie, you got to be in the same stratosphere as 1 and 2, which I don't think this is. This is like in the same stratosphere as the spin-offs. Probably better than the spin-offs. So I'll give it that. So that's good. I think it's better than all the spin-offs actually. But it just didn't feel like it was up to the caliber of 1 and 2. Like I still go back and watch 1 and 2, and that's like a scary movie.
Yeah.
Like I sit down, I'm like, I don't want to fuck yeah. This one doesn't feel like a scary movie very much. I mean, that was another one of the things that a lot of reviewers said it wasn't very scary, and I agree. Like I wasn't really, there wasn't any point in this, or you get much fright at all.
Yeah. I think the opening with the boy is probably the scariest the movie gets. And I mean before the exorcism. The exorcism is just kind of unsettling to watch. But the stuff before the actual exorcism, like with him in the bedroom and him like going into the tub with the fucking
Yeah,
drapes and like the fingers at the top and the blood's like and then him running out of the darkness with the glass stabbing his dad. That all stuff that was pretty kind of creepy to watch. But yeah, I'm trying to remember if there's anything else in the movie that got me. I don't think that there was. There was good moments of tension.
yeah.
Like
Mo-
I think the one of the ones that stood out to me in terms of tension is later on in the movie they go to a morgue so that
oh
Lorraine
yeah, yeah,
can kind of find out where this Satanist's lair is basically by touching a corpse, and she successfully kind of does that. And then she kind of whispers like, the channel works both ways, meaning that the Satanists can now manipulate the real world. And when that happens, the lights go out. Like I don't know, there's some like really cool tension moments in the movie, but in terms of it being scary,
that was one of the
yeah,
coolest parts. I thought when that dead body got up
hmm
and Ed's like looking at him, and it's just gonna. I was like, that part's cool. Um, yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, this, I don't know. It just feels different. Didn't feel that scary. The I don't know. I'm just a big fan of the demonic possession movies, I guess, which kind of lend themselves to haunted house movies because it's typically in a house and a
yeah,
family. They, I think one of the best ones I've was The Exorcism of Emily Rose. I love that one. I think that one's super scary. And so I didn't feel any of that scaredness in this really. And then, like you said, they build a lot of tension, but and it seems like there's going to be a big fright, but it never pays off. Like looking in that hole you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, something scary is going to happen, dude. I'm just waiting for a demon eye to fill up the hole, and nothing happens. Just like, oh, it's just a hole. Is that water damage? Yeah, it's a little water damage.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because there's a scene that happened to me in the same. I didn't have that feeling with the hole, but I had the same feeling with a different scene where they go and investigate the house, and the woman's like, "Oh, there's water damage under the carpet," and Ed opens up the carpet. And he's like, "That's not water damage," and so it cuts to like them under the house, under the crawl space. And Lorraine goes, and I look at Sarah in the theater. I'm like, fucking crawl spaces. Because something's going to happen in that fucking crawl space. And nothing ever did. I was like, oh, that's a perfect opportunity to do something.
Yeah, I know. It's just
crawl space.
I think it's almost like, no, the director's like, don't worry. We'll make it scary. We'll make it scary. Don't worry. Oh, the movie's fucking over? Oh, well, we'll get you next time. We'll get you. We'll get you. But that scene under the house is pretty cool because I really like I don't know, it wasn't very important, but the mice or rats. I thought that was kind of cool how they're all congregating around that totem.
Yeah,
and they're just like chilling around it, like, oh, I don't know, there's something about the visual and like the fact that it attracted these mice. I thought was cool. But yeah. Another thing about these movies is that these are real people, which makes it so much cooler than I mean, this is a very fictionalized world that they're writing about. I mean, this is probably like the version in their heads. If absolutely everything they ever saw was true and a little crazy, and they're freaking Ghostbusters in their minds. Yeah. And every week it's like Scooby Doo. They go find they find a wacky fucking ghost and fucking demon thing to do. So that makes it cool that these were real people, and I don't know if they're still alive or what's going on, but I know they were consulted and on the set of the first one.
Yeah.
Family, yeah. And I know this really happened as far as the demon defense in court. And I don't know if it worked. They don't really say if it worked. They just say he got charged with manslaughter when he was.
It doesn't sound like it worked at all. I mean, he beat the death penalty, but
yeah, well, no, he got manslaughter instead of murder, and so he only got 5 years. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
stabbing the fuck out of someone
20 times, or whatever it was.
Yeah, go do your 5 years. Those scenes were fucking weird. The creepy fucking landlord dog kennel manager, just constantly wet. I was like,
yeah, that guy seemed like a good time, didn't he?
Why is this guy just constantly fucking wet?
Let's dance, man. Yeah.
Looks like he got out of a pool. He's just, there's always that character in the horror movies just wet for no reason. So, dude, you just wake up moist, don't you? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And then, he's just like throwing that kid around. Drink this fucking beer with me.
Yeah, bro, fucking party.
It's fucking weird. Yeah, I like those scenes, and it's like I like the Terminator-ness of it. The dogs like all going crazy because they know something's up.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. But yeah, the coolness of them being real, and then this case really happening, or somewhat of it, is pretty interesting. That's why I've always found these movies, the Conjuring 1 and 2, far more interesting than just a fictionalized horror movie that is just a writer wrote this down. At least you can. It doesn't take a huge leap to be like, those two people are real. I'm gonna believe everything in this movie is real. You know what I mean? It just lose yourself in the fantasy. So I really like that. And I've watched some things about them, like things you didn't know about The Conjuring, and there's just some really interesting stuff. Like I think it's the first one where it's like, say it didn't. No, I think it might be the second one. Anyways, it possessed somebody, And they went there, and the fucking it wasn't a happy. That's number two. It wasn't a happy ending. Like the family kicked them out because it made the possession far worse. Them fucking with the thing, so they're just like, okay, sorry about that, guys. Let us know how it ends up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's what's cool about these movies is that by the time they're all over, because I mean, I didn't know about any of these cases. The Enfield one sounded familiar, but what's cool about these movies is when you're done, you like want to go on Google and want to know like the true story and see photos, and those movies do a really good job of kind of thrusting you into doing your own investigations and seeing how the movie lines up with real life. So yeah, I do like that about this. At the end, it looks like that guy what was his name? Andre and Antoine, Auntie, whatever his name is, the main character.
Yeah.
I guess him and his wife are still married to this day. Yeah. That's what the thing said.
To this day.
She's
okay with him murdering someone. All right.
One of the things I did miss about this movie that you don't get when the movie changes to like an investigation movie is that obviously Ed and Lorraine are the stars of these, like they're the heart and soul of all of these movies, right? You like they're corny and they love each other and we get it, and we're you know I suck all that shit in. I love that shit, as corny as it all is. But one of the things I like about the first two is that the plot is like Ed and Lorraine going to help a family, right? Like a broken family that's like in shambles and like is going through a really rough time. Like they come into their house and help them get rid of this thing, but also like help them get back together as a family. Like you see that in both movies, right? And there's always the quintessential, or in the first two, the quintessential Ed scene where like in the first one, he's working on the family car in the driveway, talking to the husband, helping around the house. In the second movie, he's under the sink, fixing the pipes, talking to the little possessed girl who's like trying to give her advice. Like you kind of, you lose all that in this movie. Like you don't have Ed and Lorraine going to their house and helping this family get back together, and just kind of that cute, fun scene where Ed's fixing something around the house.
Yeah, and Ed is kind of, I feel like, a backseat to Lorraine in this one, just because the heart attack they established in the beginning that he's like his health is bad, so he doesn't really do much.
Yeah,
it's kind of her doing all the stuff, and then him trying to help and needing a pill. Right. Oh, Lorraine is the big one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of missed him being more involved.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of, we were talking about tension earlier. I thought another good scene of tension is towards the end when the Satanist woman, I don't think she even has a name, or she probably has a name, but I don't remember. The Satanist woman, she kind of fucks with Ed a little bit inside their house, and then he kind of snaps to, and he's like racing around the house looking for something, and he picks up this vase, and like time slows down, everything goes in slow motion, he like drops the vase, and then it fucking breaks, and you see everyone's reaction, but we don't know what it is, and it kind of holds on everyone's reactions for a while, and you're like, what the fuck is it? And it cuts down, it's the totem. You're like, oh, like I thought that was a cool little tension.
Oh yeah.
I mean, now he's been cursed. Like fuck.
I mean, I knew that for fucking soon as he started looking. I was like, well, yeah, because he tried to kill his wife or something. Yeah, he thought his wife was like the dead body in their house.
Oh yeah. He's trying to like stab her.
And so I was like, I instantly knew. I was like, there's a fucking totem in there. Mm. And then they go looking for it, and I like how everyone's like, what is he doing? What are you doing? You're crazy. Stop it, Ed.
Yeah.
It's like, you dumb motherfuckers. We know what he's doing. It's like, dude, help me find a goddamn totem, bitch. Yeah. Get off your ass. It's in here. I just tried to murder you. I didn't do that because I wanted to, okay? I thought you were just angry. And it's like, dude, yeah, I don't get why they're all not understanding. And then soon as like, when did those flowers come? Just before you guys got here. I was like, that's in the fucking flower vase. And the flower, I knew it. And then, yeah, I thought he was going to break it, though. I thought he was going to hold it and just like punch it. And then the totem would be in it.
Just holding it.
Yeah. But he dropped it. And the flowers are all crunchy and dead. Those flowers were just alive not too long ago.
Shut up, Drew. You really have a speaking role.
You could go hold the camera or something, motherfucker. That's all you're good for. Start the tape.
Yeah.
So yeah, I knew it was going down in that, but it was still pretty cool. Uh, yeah, the whole, and then the fact that the characters. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about the Satanist lady. That was a kind of cool story because she was like the priest's daughter, and I thought that was. I really wish they would have dived into that more, like
Yeah.
the explanation of that and more backstory on that, because that was the most interesting part of the whole movie. It's like, be careful that he was saying that your interests, how they're passed on to your children, because he's very interested in all the demonic shit, but on the other side of it, and then she got interested in the demonic side of it. So that was very interesting. I liked that, but then that was over within minutes, and then his throat slit.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it would have. They were going in the direction of he was helping her, because he's just doing some creepy shit. He's like, come down here, and let me lock this behind us. Come here."
Yeah.
I think that would have been a really cool thing to have him working with them.
Yeah,
But
that's definitely the way the movie was setting it up, right? Like, there's
yeah,
another good tension scene where it's like she's on the way to go talk to that guy, but meanwhile we're stuck with Ed and Drew, I think his name is, and they figure out like, oh shit, and then you kind of cut to like water, and then you cut to her
yeah,
driving up to the house, and you see the water in the background. You're like, oh no. So you're watching this whole thing, expecting that old guy to do something, and I did expect him, like, because he's like, oh, she's coming, and then he kind of leads her to this side room behind a bookshelf, and he closes it. I thought that was going to be like, and then like the woman's there. I thought they're going to be like, okay, she's in there, let's go. But no, he
yeah,
just kind of sits down and gets his throat slashed.
yeah, yeah. So that was kind of disappointment on that. But yeah,
Yeah, I never understood
overall,
why she was doing that. Like, I get the she's cursing three people: a lover, a child, and a man of God or a person of faith. But I
mhm.
never understood why. Like, I didn't.
Yeah. Why was it?
I was like, like, why are you doing all this?
I know what the demon in the agreement gets a soul. But it's like, technically, doesn't he get like three?
Yeah,
Because the people have to kill themselves.
mhm.
But what do you get?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what was the point of all that? Like, what are you trying
Uh,
to gain? I never
and
understood why.
they now thinking of it, they try to cover that base with the. Remember, the old man was like, "It doesn't matter why. What matters is they do it. They love
Um,
chaos." Some people just like to watch the world burn. The point
Mr.
is, sir,
Wayne.
we went to his house, and there was a ruby the size of a grapefruit. He wasn't selling the rubies. He just was stealing them, wasn't it? It was a good sport to him, wasn't it?
Also, they
Like,
replaced Ruby with Totem. It was a
yeah,
totem.
yeah. As he didn't curse him for any reason. He just thought it was some good sport just to do it, master. I was like, oh
Oh
god,
shit.
I should have had Michael Caine come and explain why.
That's awesome.
God, I love that. A ruby the size of a grapefruit. And it made me very hungry, Master Wayne.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Uh,
so
I love that the Annabelle bit. I thought that was kind of a funny bit where he's like,
yeah.
"I'll prove to you if you come to our
Come
house."
on, we'll show you Annabelle. How you gonna prove it? We gonna take it out the case here. Fucking play with this doll and tell me it ain't fucking possessed. Hope she doesn't kill you.
Yeah. And it automatically cuts to the courtroom, and she's all like disheveled. I thought that was kind of a fun little cut.
So I like speaking of the doll, another thing I learned that was pretty cool, that's a real thing, I guess, that happened. But the Annabelle doll is a Raggedy Ann
Raggedy
doll.
Ann, yeah,
Little tiny Raggedy Ann doll. That's a much more compelling movie.
yeah.
It's a little fucking Raggedy Ann. Fucking Raggedy Ann. Oh shit, now she's got Andy. What'd you do with Andy? You crazy bitch.
I'm glad they changed it. That would have been fucking hilarious.
Slitting the throat of Raggedy Andy. The fluff coming out. Oh, what'd she do? Oh god.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they made that doll super fucking scary. It ain't scary at all. It's a little 6-inch fucking
Raggedy Ann, red hair.
I would love to. I think it's still going, that fucking museum they got. I think it's in Connecticut or something. But yeah, I'd love to go see that shit. That'd probably scare me too much, man. Like I know how
Yeah,
these
I ain't
movies.
walking in that room.
I know how these movies start. You fucking tempt someone or
Mhm.
touch the wrong thing, or even you just being in the presence of something.
Yeah,
You know, I don't know. I'd like to see it, but I don't know. I
from a
could.
distance.
I don't know if I could go in there, man.
um, yeah. Speaking of the room, I like. There's. I thought that James Wan's style was missing quite a bit. Like he does a lot of. You go back and watch both of those first two, and there's a lot of cool camera stuff. Like we kind of already referenced that, but
Yeah.
the only thing that I really thought that was cool in this movie was there's a scene towards the end where they're in the Satanist lair, and Lorraine's kind of running around like a fucking, you know, crazy person. But anyway, she falls
Yeah.
down and like she has like a
Oh yeah,
mimicking
yeah.
person in front of her, and that person's like, I thought that was kind of a cool
Yeah.
visual. But other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of,
What was that even about?
I don't know.
I thought they were gonna go more into that, like something's going on now, but no, they just kind of runs the other way. But yeah, that was pretty cool.
But I do like, even if this is kind of a side movie from the main line. I do like that the aesthetic of the beginning and the end stay intact. Every movie starts or at some has like an opening, and then always has the scrolling yellow text, and then the big Conjuring, Conjuring Two, Conjuring Devil, and then they all end with them
Yeah.
placing an item in their thing, and then the movie ends. So I like that there's continuity there between all three of them.
And now I'll tell you the story of how we got the devil chalice. Gather round. Yeah, I just love it. It's like there's a million things in their museum, so it's just like
Yeah.
their wacky fucking Scooby-Doo adventures around the country. Like every week. Oh yeah, I remember that, Demon. That was a scary weekend, wasn't it?
I want to look it up because that does exist. I want to see if I can actually put this into our edit because it's pretty
Yeah.
creepy.
Fuck yeah, it would be. Yeah, and I like it's like, don't worry, we keep this stuff safe. It's in glass. What's a what is this? Demon-proof glass? What are you talking about? How is Annabelle any safer in a piece of glass? I'm pretty sure if that thing is possessed, it could break glass. I don't know. I mean, I haven't met many
Yeah.
ghosts, but remember Casper's uncles were assholes. I wouldn't mind breaking a glass case.
Oh man. So the real life. So in the movie, it's clean. Everything's in a glass case. You look at the real photo. It looks like a crazy person's. Like,
It's a
den.
hoarder.
It's
It's
like, what the fuck?
it's on the floor. You got to kick some of it out of the way to get in. The fuck? Hey, don't kick
That's-
that too hard. That's a devil chalice.
That's 100% what it looks like, dude. I'll put it in the edit, but yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks a lot cleaner in the movies, that's for sure. That's funny.
Just a thick layer of dust on everything. Yeah. Oh, I like the end. You were saying about their love story and stuff. I teared up at the end.
Yeah.
When he, I assume they don't really say he could have just got a replica, but I'm assuming he went and got the exact gazebo that they first kissed in and got it, moved to his house. And that's what I assume happened. And I thought that part got me. He's like, oh, it's the gazebo.
Yeah. I love that. That's another cool thing about this movie is that this is a Hollywood horror film where this stuff doesn't typically happen in these movies, and that's I think what makes them stand above the other ones is like they have characters they actually explore and actually have cool like in the second movie, fucking in the middle of the movie he starts singing Elvis. And there's a montage. It's like, that's so cool. Like, and then the movie ends with them dancing slowly to I Can't Help Falling in Love with Elvis. And it's just like, no other Hollywood bullshit horror movie does those kind of things. And I think that's what makes them great. These cool moments.
I like that scene. That scene just needed a big old Samoan to join in with a little ukulele. Do you mind if I join, brother?
Yeah.
Wise man say only fools rush in.
Ooh.
Yeah, I still like every time I watch that movie, I'll be singing that song. It's a really good rendition of that. All right, so let's get down to brass tacks. Let's get down to let's get down to business here. We're here for a goddamn reason, and that's to exorcise these demons. All right, this house is clean. All right, so they're here. Dang. So all this into consideration. So listening to us talk about it. We haven't said anything too harsh.
Yeah.
On it. But at the same time, it does sound like we both were at least somewhat disappointed it didn't live up to, story, cinematography, James Wan being gone really was felt. Mm-hmm. So, all that being said, I'm trying to calculate a score in my head that's not too high because it's got to reflect it that it's not as good as the others, but not too low because it's not a bad movie. So if Conjuring 1, I would probably say is like an 8. Conjuring 2 for me is probably like an 8.5. That probably puts this one at right about a 7. I don't want to go into the 6s. I feel like it deserves a 7. It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd have to go with a 7.
Yeah, I would go Conjuring as a 9 for me. I still love that movie. Conjuring 2 would probably be a solid 8, and I think 3 is I'd say a 7. I agree with you. 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. Boom. And that's why these movies are scary, because you never know when 7, 8, 9. Oh. All right. Yeah, 7. Yeah, it's pretty good. Check it out. I mean, if you have HBO, you get it for free. If not, it's a reason to go to the theater when there's not too much great stuff out in the theater right now. It's kind of like stupid Saw spinoff. And,
yeah.
I hear it is overtaking A Quiet Place too, which I haven't seen that yet, but I would imagine that's a better movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It seems like it'd be a better movie just from the trailers, and that one looks, and the story of Quiet Place is so cool.
Yeah, I gotta say, since we haven't reviewed it, I think we should though, even if it's later down the road when you see it, even if it's on Blu-ray or something. But I want to say at the top before we even get there, however long it takes us to review it, Quiet Place 2 fucking rules. That movie is awesome. I thought it was way better than not that I didn't like the first one, but Quiet Place 2 is fantastic.
Yeah,
I wanted to, because you're saying I wanted to go through this because my jaw fucking dropped. You're saying that there isn't a lot of movies in theaters right now, and I agree. But I was looking at this year for releases because everything's been switched around and moved and pushed. I'm like, I don't even know what the release dates are for all these movies. So I was looking, and dude, between October and December, it is bananas. Like, it's insane. Like, I have it right here. So starting October 1st, you have Dune. The week after that, you have No Time to Die, which is James Bond. The week after that, you have Halloween Kills.
Is this the one where... No, Amazon just bought James Bond, didn't they?
Yeah, the franchise, yeah.
But this one was made before that, I assume.
Correct.
Because everyone's worried that Amazon's gonna kill James Bond. So, anyways, I just want to get at that over.
So you have Dune. The next week after that, you have James Bond. The next week after that, you have Halloween. The next week after that,
Halloween, like Halloween 2, as in the new ones.
The new ones, the rebooted new one. What's his name? Dan McBride.
Another one down on the road. It reminds me that I'd like to do. A lot of people hate him, but I fucking liked him a lot. It's the Rob Zombie Halloween. I fucking really liked that movie. A lot of people shit on it, and it's got some fans too. But that'd be a fun one to do.
Yeah, I haven't seen that since theaters. I wouldn't mind. I remember. I think it was pretty good. But who knows? Maybe it'll change. So then you got a week after that is A Last Night in Soho, which is Edgar Wright's new movie. Edgar Wright did the Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, At World's End, Baby Driver. So his new movie comes out the week after that. And then the week after that, Wes Anderson's, I don't know if you're a Wes Anderson fan, but the Wes Anderson new movie comes out. Oh, actually, no, sorry. Let me back up. On the same day that Edgar Wright's movie comes out, Wes Anderson movie comes out. And then after that, you have Antlers, which I kind of want to see. But then the week after that, it keeps going, dude. The week after that is Eternals, that Marvel movie. 2 weeks after that is Ghostbusters. The week after Ghostbusters is Top Gun. And then after that, you have Ridley Scott's House of Gucci. And then after that, you have West Side Story, and then Spider Man, and then The Matrix. I'm like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
What the fuck? It's like, how long
Cut
have we
that
been
shit out,
hearing?
dude.
How long have we been hearing about some of these movies? It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, how long have we been hearing about Ghostbusters and Top Gun, and they're still not out? The movie has been completed for so long.
In another
Like,
timeline, we would have already seen that. Like those
yeah,
movies would have came out last summer. Crazy.
yeah. And I'm pissed. I still haven't seen the new Ghostbusters. I'm like, dude, how come these other movies are coming out? I've heard about Ghostbusters far before any of these other movies, and they're already out. I knew about Ghostbusters far before I knew there was going to be a Quiet Place 2.
Mm-hmm.
That shit already came out. I was like, dude, put Ghostbusters out so we could fucking watch this thing, dude. You bastards.
Yeah, now you have to wait till November. If you remember, it was originally slated for this April, like a couple months ago, April, and then they pushed it, I think, to summer, and then they pushed it again to November. I think the studio was just trying to figure out like where we are in the country in terms of like opening up, so they're kind of getting cold feet, like, oh, April, I don't know, but
Yeah, it's
now
like
they pushed it to November.
I don't think you're gonna get that much more ticket sales by doing that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I don't. We're not going to be, what do you think? November is just going to be fully open. Hey, theaters can have 100% capacity. I don't think that's going to happen.
mm-hmm.
So, are you really? What are you really doing?
Yeah,
You're just delaying the product from getting in the hands of people who want to buy it. That's what you're doing. I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's going to be a rough release regardless. No movie's doing that great. Like, I look at the sales and it's like number one movies are like in the fucking single million digits. I was like, what the fuck?
yeah.
Remember when we used to make $1 billion on this shit?
Well, that's what's crazy, right? Is like I bring that up because that just it seems like a lot. I mean, all those movies I was just saying is like, and next week, and next week, and next week, and it's frustrating. It's got to be frustrating for some of these directors and studios because there's a reason why in a normal typical movie year these things are spread out so these things can have time to make money. When you have things stacked up like that, there's only going to be one or two winners out of that pack because not everyone's going to, I'm going to go and see all this because I'm a fucking psychopath, but not everyone's going to do that. They're going to pick Ghostbusters out of that whole pack. And then all the other movies are going to falter because they're not going to make money because people are seeing the other movie that's out. You know what I mean? So you got to spread this shit out. So some of these make a little more money, but we'll see.
Spread it out like a full 2-page spread, baby.
Yep.
My concho. I did a full spread. I was, yeah. So yeah, that's crazy. Can't wait for some of these to start happening. Some of those I'll definitely want to see in theaters. Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I got to see that in the theater. So yeah, but as far as this movie goes, sevens all around, pretty good. I mean, I'm really waiting for one of these movies, these newer movies we review, to just glow about it. And I still need to watch A Quiet Place. I think that could have been a glowing review from us that I missed out on because the theaters just they're doing half capacity and the ticket sale really quick, so it's like shitty seats left, and I'm not gonna sit in the far left corner, fucking looking over at the screen and shit.
Dude, it's so funny you bring that up. I just want there's a little caveat here, or this a little story. So we get to the theater last night, and before I left for the theater, I went on Fandango and looked at the chart of the seating. And right now at the Regal that we go to, they X out every other row. Like you can't even book those. So Fandango fucking sucks because they charge you a what is it, $1.50, $2 surcharge or whatever. So I just buy the tickets at the theater because you don't get that charge. Turns your $20 tickets into $24. So fuck that. So anyways, I got to the theater last night, and I'm like, hey, we need to buy tickets. And they're like, okay. So they show up the map, no X's on the thing. They're like, yeah, go for it. Here's the screen. I'm like, okay, I'll get D9 and D10. And then she's kind of cycling through, and she picks like D3 and 4, which is like the end of the row. And she's like, "Hey, I have to pick 3 and 4 for whatever reason, but when you get in there, just sit in the middle. Don't it's a social distance thing. Don't even worry about it." And I'm like, "Do you guys not even care? Like, just willy nilly, we can do whatever the fuck we want." Like, I don't know. I thought it was funny. Like, they didn't give any shits. It was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I just thought it was funny. I was like, "Oh, some rules you guys got here."
I mean, fuck. I mean, it's fucking it's airborne, and theater is like probably the worst place you could be for something like that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's like, all the doors are closed. It's enclosed so much to help hold the sound. So you're sitting in a fucking box with other people. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's comparison to like other buildings. That just feels like that. When I'm in a theater, I feel like I'm stuck in there. You know what I mean? Like all those germs ain't going nowhere. They're
Right.
chilling. They're chilling here.
Yeah, it is. It is hard to watch a movie with a mask on. I will say that about the experience. I kind of go back and forth throughout the movie until I'm. I guess if I'm fully vaccinated, I can just take the whole thing off. They don't care, but I'm not quite there yet. But yeah, like there'll be times I'll go for a long, probably like half an hour, and it's like hard to breathe because, like you said, you're just stuck in a room, a stuffy room, and you're just sitting there and like, oh fuck, I have to like breathe for a second, and put it back on.
Rip it open. Have your mouth there.
Just cut it.
Popcorn.
But yeah.
All right, guys. That's what we got. 7s all around. Pretty good movie. Fun time. Everyone likes a good scary movie once in a while. Not one of the most scary ones, but still a good movie nonetheless. Pretty entertaining. It's got some good ideas that don't quite ever add up to the product it probably could have been. I think with take this story and maybe James Wan doing some. I think he did help write it, but maybe altering it a little bit more, then directing it probably could have been a lot better. But as it is, it's pretty good. It's fun to see the Conjuring folks again. So
yeah, definitely.
That's fun times. 7. We enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy it. Go check it out on HBO Max or at your local movie theater. Yeah, thank you for watching and subscribing. Please like the videos if you like them, or even if you don't, just like them anyways. It'll help us out. Appreciate it. Tell your friends, tell your aunties, tell everybody. All right. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Peace, y'all.
God be with you.
Love y'all.
Whatever.
Shamalah ham.